Coming to the speaking section, question number 1. Do you think Mr. Gessler was a failure as a bootmaker or as a competitive businessman? What do you think? Do you think that Mr. Gessler, he was not up to date, or probably he was not changing with the changing times? What do you think? Well, the answer will be, I'll just write down the answer for you. There is no doubt that Mr. Gessler was a perfect bootmaker and the best in London. He was like an artist who did not know the tacts of promoting the business, but boots made by him were the best in quality and they lasted much longer. But as a businessman, he was not at all successful. He would insist to make shoes, boots, not shoes. He was a bootmaker, so he would insist to make boots by himself alone. So he took longer time to deliver the boots. As a result of it, he lost his old clients. He was not advertising to attract new customers. Thus, he failed as a competitive businessman. Alright, so this is the answer. There is no doubt that Mr. Gessler was a perfect bootmaker and the best in London. He was like an artist who did not know the tacts of promoting the business. But boots made by him were the best in quality and they lasted much longer. But as a businessman, he was not at all successful. He would insist to make boots by himself alone. So he took longer time to deliver the boots. As a result of it, he lost his old clients. He was not advertising to attract new customers. Thus, he failed as a competitive businessman. Second part, what is the significance of the title? What was the title? Quality. What is the significance of that? To whom or to what does it refer? What do you think? What does quality refer? Quality refers to the kind of leather Mr. Gessler was using, right? To whom does it refer? It refers to the kind of leather Mr. Gessler used, and even to Mr. Gessler, because he used quality products and he did quality work, right? So quickly we'll write down the answer for this one. Question 2. The title of the story Quality refers to the superb quality of the boots made by the bootmaker Mr. Gessler. He was a superb craftsman and an artist. He made boots that fitted well and lasted long. His starvation and poverty never affected the quality of his boots. Even the last pairs of boots sent to the author were perfect in shape and finish. Mr. Gessler had only one aim: to make boots of the best possible quality. Quality was everything for him. I think he sacrificed his life for the sake of quality. Thus, the title Quality is the best, keeping in view the main theme of the story. Alright, so the answer would be, the title of the story Quality refers to the superb quality of the boots made by the bootmaker Mr. Gessler. He was a superb craftsman and an artist. He made boots that fitted well and lasted long. His starvation and poverty never affected the quality of his boots. Even the last pairs of boots sent to the author were perfect in shape and finish. Mr. Gessler had only one aim: to make boots of the best possible quality. Quality was everything for him. I think he sacrificed his life for the sake of quality. Thus, the title Quality is the best, keeping in view the main theme of the story. Alright? Now, coming to the question number 3. Notice the way Mr. Gessler speaks English. His English is influenced by his mother tongue. He speaks English with an accent. What was his mother tongue? German. Whatever he used to speak, that was in German accent. Even the English he used to speak, that was in German accent. For example, it is beautiful. He meant to say it is beautiful, but it was said in a German accent. When Mr. Gessler speaks, PTK sounds like BDG. Can you say these words as Mr. Gessler would say them? It comes and never stops. Does it bother me? Not at all. Ask my brother, please. So now we have to speak these words PTK in Mr. Gessler's accent, right? So you have to say these words, this sentence in his accent. Can you do that? All right.
It gums and never stops. Does it bother me? Not at all. Ask my brother, please. Yeah? So this is how Mr. Gessler would say, it gums and never stops. Does it bother me? Not at all. Ask my brother, please.
Now, coming to question number 4. Speak to 5 adults in your neighborhood. Ask them the following questions in any language they are comfortable in. Then come back and share your findings with the class. Now, here are some questions that we have to ask from our neighbors in any language, whichever language they are comfortable in. And then we have to share the findings, whatever results we got, we have to share that in our class. So, what are the questions? First, do they buy their provisions packed in plastic packets at a big store or loose from a smaller store near their house? So, first question we have to ask is, how do they buy their groceries? Whatever provision they buy it from a bigger store or a smaller store. If they are buying it from a bigger store, they buy in the plastic packets, or if they are buying from a smaller store, are they buying it loose or in packets? Second question that we have to ask is, where do they buy their footwear? Now we have to ask, where do they buy their footwear from? Do they buy branded footwear or footwear made locally? What reasons do they have for their preference? Now we have to ask them, from where do they buy their footwear? Are they buying it from the bigger stores or locally? And what is the reason for their preference? Third question, do they buy ready-made clothes or buy clothes and get their clothes stitched by a tailor? Which do they think is better? Now we have to talk about the clothing. We have to ask them if they're buying it, the clothes they buy, are they ready-made or they buy the cloth and get it stitched by the tailor, and what is the reason for their preference? Now question for number 5. Look at the picture. The boy Ajit is saying something and then Anisa is replying. Let's see. Ajit is saying, I have decided to go abroad for higher studies. Anisa is saying, have you? I don't think I'll ever do that. I love my country. Let pairs of students talk to each other about leaving the country. One student repeats Ajit's statement. The other gives a reason for not agreeing with Ajit. The sentence openings given below should be used. Alright, so first is, if I leave this country, I'll miss what? What are you going to miss? Then the second statement would be, there are some things which you can get only here, for example. So this has to be a pair activity where one has to become Ajit and the second one has to become Anisa, and the conversation has to go like this. If I leave this country, I'll miss what? What will Ajit miss? And then Anisa has to reply something. Then Ajit will be replying, there are some things which you can get only here, for example, and then Ajit will give some examples, and then there will be a reply from Anisa. So this is an activity where it has to be two people talking. One will enact as Ajit and the second person will enact as Anisa. So this you can do it with your friends, your partners, your siblings, or even your family members. Make a pair of two and then you can do this activity. This is a speaking activity which will increase your vocabulary and your speaking skills as well, even your thinking skills, right? So these are the sentence starters and you have to create the whole dialogue. Alright, now coming to the writing part. Now, based on the following points, write a story. Now we have got few points here. We also have some points here and here. Now, based on these points, we have to write a story. Let's read the points first. First is, your aunt has gone to her mother's house. Your uncle does his cooking. He is absent-minded. He puts vegetables on the stove. He begins to clean his bicycle outside. The neighbor calls out saying something is burning. Your uncle rushes to the kitchen. To save vegetables, he puts some oil on them. Unfortunately, it's machine oil, not cooking oil. What do you think happens to the vegetables? Now, seeing these pointers, we have to write up a story. We have to begin like this. Last month, my aunt decided to visit her parents. I am not giving you the paragraph for this one. You have to write your story on your own. However, I'll just brief you. When you have to start like this, last month, my aunt decided to visit her parents. Then we can continue. So my uncle started cooking for himself. He is a little absent-minded, though he is good in cooking, but he is not very careful and he tries to do multitasking. He puts vegetables on the stove. Alright, so we can write, one day he went into the kitchen, he was trying to make breakfast and he had put some vegetables on the stove and then he forgot about it and he thought, I'll do the cleaning of my bicycle, and he went out to clean his bicycle. Then suddenly there was some smoke. A neighbor saw the smoke and then he called out that I could smell something burning, and then uncle remembers that he had put some vegetables on the stove and he rushes back to the kitchen. And so on, you can continue the story. I had given you the starter. You can continue the story on your own. Every person will be writing a different story. However, the points will be the same, but the story will be different because everybody has their own creative thinking. The sentence framing will be different. The outcome will be different, can be different. Alright. So with this, we end this chapter. I hope you have understood the chapter well. The chapter quality gives us an idea. Quality matters in everything, but with this, at the same time, we must understand that we have to move along with the world. We should know what is happening in the world if we are doing a business or for anything, even our personality development for that matter. We must go along with the world. We should not lag behind, right? Alright kids, I hope you have enjoyed this story. We'll be taking up the next chapter soon. Alright kids, bye. Take care.